So it's not just 2025 targets going to the barbecue. There are some major, and I'm talking about elite talents coming from 2026 and 27. So Savon Hitter especially, oh my God, this player, if you haven't watched the film, we're about to show it, but you want to talk about just if you know the superhero The Flash, that's this guy.
Another Flash. How many Flashes could be on Michigan's roster? If we could Jerome Miles, Philip Wright, and Savon Hitter, oh my God. Yeah, so all right. So listen, I've told you guys, anyone who's watched our show for the last few months, I've told you 2025 class is going to be a good class. We're hoping to get it top 10. That's the target, top 12, top 10, that's the target. But the 26 class, Michigan's going for it, and they're gonna swing for the fences. And there is rumblings that they want a top 5 class. We'll see what they can do. This is one of the top targets for the 26 class. Savon Hitter, Brady Hart is going to be without question, and I know this, building his relationship with him and trying to get him. Trying to get him into the class. Michigan it already has in a good position with Savon Hitter. Tony Alford has built a relationship with him since his days back with Ohio State. So what's happening now is these coaching staffs are now able to build these relationships that are going to be more than a year and really take our recruiting class to the next level. And this is a name to know. We will only bring you names to know at this channel. And this is the one for 2027 that I recommend at least remembering, because we will be talking about him in the future. This is one of the top targets for the running back position. This is your RB1, and we'll see what they can do. I'm looking forward to hearing, what comes out of the weekend and what type of move Michigan has made for Savon Hitter.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of like the way you're describing it, the analogy or metaphor I'd use is sort of like Sharon Moore's got, he just got the job and he's doing all these things and he's a CEO. So he kind of, I'm hungry now. And we talked about the barbecue. So he sort of has like a food truck now, but he wants to have that restaurant next year. So if he can get in the top 10 or pretty close to it with just the food truck recruiting this year, he's going to have that top restaurant next year. I can see this progression that way, right? So.
Yeah, and I think Michigan I'm telling you, I really think Michigan is going to have a hell of a 26 class. When you have your quarterback already in the fold like Brady Hart, when you have that cornerstone player, and he's coming up to recruit this weekend, when you have that, it makes it a lot easier, and we're coming off a national title. The NIL game is strong. In the 25 class is looking very promising. So, Michigan is in a good place. Now they just got to keep going and keep hitting on these targets. And we're going to talk about the next target, John, who is CJ Sadler, wide receiver out of Cass Tech, Detroit, Michigan.
Absolutely. Before we do, though, I just want to point out that they're using him in this film in the deep receiving game at various points.
He's a duo.
And we're talking like, Donovan Edwards receiving ability in high school. Like, I mean, it's legit. And pair that with the ability to be probably an RB1 and take those reps too.
Yeah, no, this kid, listen, we got Donovan Edwards elite, Blake Corum elite, Jordan Marshall elite. This is an elite player. This is your next running back. If he comes to Michigan, stay tuned because he's coming after Jordan Marshall.
Look out, folks. So I know you wanted to talk about CJ Sadler, who's also coming.
This is another name we must know, and anyone who's followed recruiting already does know this kid's name. He's been on our radar for about 2 years now. This is a major elite talent. He's not the tallest wide receiver. He's about 5'11", but it doesn't matter. We are looking at a dynamic playmaker who is on Michigan's radar. And the good news is Michigan's in a great position for CJ Sadler. He's also coming up for barbecue at the Big House. And I'm going to tell you, this falls in line with evolving the playbook and getting these types of playmakers who can do a lot with the ball. As you can see, this kid is a human joystick. He's faster than everybody. He is going to be the type of player who may end up a 5-star by the end of the recruiting evaluations, if he's not a 5-star, he's going to be a borderline 5-star. He is a top 100 player already. So we're looking at an extremely elite talent here. And I'm going to tell you, I know for a fact Brady Hart's going to be working very hard on trying to also build a relationship with CJ Sadler this weekend.
Yeah, really, really great player there. And yeah, I think the relationships that are going to be cultivated at barbecue at the Big House, or continued, including with each other, like the other players and the quarterbacks. You mentioned Brady Hart. I mean, my God, like those, I could just imagine those two connecting with each other. So somebody who I mean, Mark Rogers, voice of college football, and I talked about was Owen Wafel, transferring to, switching over to Michigan from Notre Dame. And now we've got his younger brother, Luke Wafel, who's switching over.
Yeah, Luke Wafel, who is the younger brother of Owen Wafel. This is another top target for Michigan. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, this kid is already a 4-star in the 26 class. And listen, in my opinion, he's a must get because he's going to be a legacy. And he's an elite talent. This is the type of player you want in your class for the defensive line. And I feel very confident Lou Esposito is going to be able to build that relationship. And listen, it doesn't hurt to have your brother attend the university. That helps Michigan major. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes out of this weekend, what type of movement Michigan makes. I do expect, though, a lot of times when you have a younger brother of either a player at Michigan or a kid who's currently committed to Michigan, whatever, typically they want to take their time a little bit and do the process, go through the process and see what they like. But at the end of the day, I feel like Michigan's in a great position, and I do think Michigan should be able to close and land Luke Wafel. I don't have any intel on it. This is pure assumption at this point, but I feel like we're in a great spot to get him, and he'd be a hell of an addition to the class.
And of course, Keegan coming through with the Waffle House NIL. Yeah, I thought it was waffle at first, and then everybody in the comments were like, "No, you're it's not that." Because I had all kinds of things ready to go for that for that announcement, but apparently it's waffle. So thanks for that, Keegan. Any other thoughts on Ferris? You got any thoughts on Luke?
I mean, this list is so huge. I mean, what was it like a year ago? Let's try to comprehend both in quality and quantity. TJ, do you remember how?
I don't know the total amount from last year's barbecue at the Big House, but like this is going to be over 60 visitors. It's just major, and we're only skimming the surface. There's a lot. Like this isn't, just so everyone knows, this is not all the elite talent that's coming. It's just the players I feel like Michigan is best positioned for. And the players who right now, I'd say Michigan has the most leverage with right now. There are other talents coming in who are very similar or near the same level. And this weekend's going to be major. And listen, Michigan's going to make moves with those too. And anything that comes out of the weekend, we're definitely going to have for all of you.
There's so much info. I mean, and the other thing is, do not underestimate, listeners, the importance of Brady Hart. That's what I'm learning here. That having that anchor at the barbecue at the Big House, he's the one who's going to be there when others in his class are considering going to Michigan. And if he had not committed, then the dynamic is totally different.
It makes it harder. It makes it a lot easier to sell when you have a quarterback heading a class. These kids know who they're going to play with. They know who they're going to play for. And they know who they're going to go into battle with on Saturdays. It's major. It's just like when we had JJ, when he committed early to Michigan, he was able to get that class during 2020, during the down year for Michigan. He was able to keep that class together, and that class won a national championship.
So the vision, of course, to become a little bit more focused on the air attack, at least slightly. These two are going to be pretty important, right? George Patrick and Jack Janda. How about those? So what made you think of putting those on the list?
So George Patrick, John, you're going to love this. Okay. Well, he's a top 100 offensive lineman. but he is our favorite of all favorite type of offensive lineman, an MSU legacy. This is another MSU legacy. Yep, this will be our third one in the last year, right? So this is another MSU legacy, and Michigan's in a great spot for him because we all know Michigan State doesn't look to be competitive for a while. So we'll take all of your legacies who are top talents. We have no problem with that. We appreciate all the top players that Michigan State can give us. We'll take those. But yeah, so George Patrick, or I'm sorry, I said George Patrick, Gregory Patrick. He's an elite level offensive lineman already. He's a top 100 player. He's a big body offensive lineman. He's a molar. So we'll see what Michigan can do there. I mean, from my understanding, Michigan's in a good position already. And for him coming up to barbecue at the big house, it's another opportunity for Grant Newsome to really build that relationship. And listen, Brady Hart will also be connecting with the offensive line because you're nothing without your offensive line. And I fully expect to hear positive intel out of the weekend with Gregory Patrick as well. We'll see what comes of it, but it's another player to know, and we will keep our eyes on that one. And then lastly, Jack Janda. The reason why I have Jack Janda here is because if there's a player close to committing right now from the 26 class, it's Jack Janda. Jack Janda has visited Michigan so many times that there's no point in even counting. He is a heavy Michigan lean as we speak, and Michigan's looking to take 2 tight ends. So they're looking to take potentially Jack Janda if he commits to Michigan, and another elite like a Brady, or I'm sorry, like an Andrew Olish or a Brady Prescorn type tight end. So they're going to try and land like one of those elite top of the line talents along with a Jack Janda. So we're going to look for the 26 class to have a 2 tight end class, and he's just another name to know because it's looking very encouraging in terms of a future commit by Jack Janda. And then anything on that before we hit on 27 targets, guys?
Yeah, let's go to 27.
All right, 27. Now, all right, look. We all know I am not a fan of going this far into recruiting, but we might as well because Michigan is crushing in recruiting, and our 25 class is already like 70% full. So we're going to move on, and because we have some major talents coming in for 27, and Michigan is already starting to narrow its board in certain areas. And one of those, and this is a very key one, and we've mentioned his name before, and that's QB1 for 2027, Trae Taylor. All right, he has already been on campus over 10 times, guys. 10 times. He is an elite talent. He's considered a possible 5-star. Yeah, this is a serious. So Michigan's looking to already land their next quarterback for 2027. This is a name to know. I'm not locking anything in. I'm not guaranteeing anything. But what I am saying is we're in a good spot, and it's trending very well. So we'll keep our eyes on Trae Taylor. And I'll tell you guys, if we can land Trae Taylor after Brady Hart, Michigan's quarterback room, it just looks better and better, to be honest with you. And then the next name we'll hit on is Holden Niemi. So this kid is an elite talent. This kid is on the level of an Andrew Olish in terms of just elite athleticism. They're going after him very aggressively. This is a name to know right now. This is their top tight end target from my understanding. So we'll see what they can do with that. And then Dakota Garant. The reason why we are highlighting him is, one, this is a 5-star caliber player. This is another wide receiver who's big time. This is the type of wide receiver who helps you expand a playbook. And what also makes this very, very unique is he is the cousin of Jacob Odun, who is currently on Michigan's roster, safety for Michigan. He committed last year's class. And he has been on record saying Dakota Garant is not going anywhere but Michigan. So we'll see if that's true. We hope it is true because we're talking about an elite talent here. And here's what I do know. Jacob Odun is damn loyal. He's a diehard. He was a heavy recruiter for Michigan. His dad is I don't know if he's still coaching high school ball or not, but his dad is also a heavy recruiter for Michigan. I fully expect Jacob Odun and his father to do a full court press on Dakota Garant. And it doesn't hurt to have Trae Taylor and Brady Hart there to help persuade or pitch Michigan in the future offense that Michigan will be showcasing on Saturdays. So get to know that name because that is the name we will definitely be covering in months to years ahead. So Stay tuned to that one. And then the last one, John, I added another one that's not on our list. And the reason why I added this one is because we have a family affair here, guys. We got Luke Wafel's brother. We got Jacob Odun's cousin. And then we also have Julius Holly's younger brother, Jackson Holly, who's an edge. This is also a high-level player in the 27 class. And Michigan's looking to build the relationship, not only with Julius Holly, who will also be at barbecue at the Big House, but with Jackson Holly. So, again, a major weekend for not only 2026, it is a major weekend for 2026. It's a big weekend for 2025, so we can close on some commits. 2026, it's a major weekend for the foundation and the future of the class, but they also have their eyes on 2027. And we will, as always, have the most up-to-date intel we possibly can have on all of these guys in the coming weeks.
I mean, you may have noticed we go into a lot. I mean, TJ, the level of detail that TJ goes into, the amount of research he does, and then he shares it with us, and in a easy to understand way. It is just a different level of information that you can get from any other source. I'll just put it that way, right?
And on top of that, we bring you the most accurate intel we possibly can, because and I'll give a little pat on the back. We told you Derek Meadows was going to LSU last weekend. There was other there were other people in the industry saying Notre Dame. I'm just trying to let you know, listen, I'm not always right, but we do have a high average here. So we do our best to give you guys the most accurate intel we possibly can give you, and we're definitely here to bring you the best, to our ability, recruiting perspective we possibly can give you.
Yeah, we were pushing LSU hard on that one because I didn't. Yeah, Notre Dame, just to me, it just didn't seem like the right fit. It didn't seem like, from a schematic perspective, like, imagine you could be catching a ball from Bryce Underwood. Right. So
that was a big sell. That and NIL. I mean, listen, he was going to commit to LSU that Friday, and then Michigan made him think about it. And Michigan made a major move, which we had for you. We had that for you. We had the update on that. And then I told you on Tuesday's show, if I had to make a pick, it'd be LSU. I reached out to my guy, and he told me LSU. And my guy's been on it, dude. So I'm going to, I trust him. He's only steered me wrong once. So, I'm going to keep going to that well as long as I can. So, shout out to that. Shout out to him. And hey, good luck to Derek Meadows. We're going to keep, hopefully we get Jerome Miles and Andrew Marsh. And at the end of the day, we'll be like, who's Derek Meadows? I don't even know.
We got a couple of super chats and member comments. So Cody Mumford just re-upped $5 as well with the super chat. I just want to say I love the show. Thanks for making Michigan info so easy to access. Go Blue. Go Blue, Cody.
Yeah, shout out to you, Cody. You said you let your membership expire, man. That's not cool. I'm just kidding. No, it is cool. He's supposed not to give me a shout out. Shout out to Cody Mumford for becoming a member. And thank you for your super chat, man. It's greatly appreciated.
And it was able to stick so that he could still do the 30-day plus member comment. So that's great. If next season goes well, I expect a top 5 class. The moment we have now in recruiting another 9 or 10 win season and more in his first year will show kids Michigan isn't going away anytime soon.
I agree. If Michigan can make the playoffs this year, Jesus. I mean, and not only that, like we all saw, like, I don't know if anyone's paid attention, they just did another NIL event with the golf outing. JJ McCarthy donated some memorabilia from his a Vikings jersey autographed. Jim Harbaugh is donating. We have such a good foundation right now for NIL and a good structure in place where we are now competitive. We can go after Jerome Miles and Andrew Marsh and Derek Meadows. And listen, we have the most top 100 committed players we've had in the last 2 years in one cycle. Michigan's really doing it. And, shout out to Cheryl Moore for getting the program in the right direction. And shout out to Michigan for getting finally unified. There are still places out there where they don't understand the reality or the dynamic of Michigan's administration, athletic director, and coaching and NIL collectives. And there's like people are still they're still lost. It's because they're not watching us. But regardless, listen, the results are showing. We've been on point all the way. And listen, shout out to Michigan for getting everything aligned and being able to be effective on the recruiting trail. And I do agree, Cody. I think a top 5 class, it's early, but getting Brady, Hart, and then going after the targets they're going after, CJ Sadler, Savon Hitter, these are major top 100 players. We'll see what they can do with it.
Absolutely true. We have some more. We've got Justin, $2. Thank you again for us always being here, Justin, and for contributing. We really appreciate that. Let's land Luke Wafel. Let the brothers run the DL.
Absolutely. How sick would that be? How cool! I love when the Glasgows were here. That was cool. I love seeing that family connection, especially if they can both be at a high level. Which, by the way, Owen's a dog, right? And Luke's a great player too. I look forward to breaking down his huddle tape at some point in the future.
And we do have DMD with a 10. Great job, boys. Y'all have really done a great job turning this channel into a must-watch for Michigan football fans. Go Blue. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, DMD. Greatly appreciate it. We're doing our best to build this channel to the best of our ability, and also just taking it to the next level. And there's more to come, man. We have a lot of things on the horizon. Andrew Marsh will not be the last recruit interview we'll do or commit interview we will do. We got things in the pipelines we're going to be working on. We have some other interviews in the pipeline. We have one on the back burner right now that we're looking to launch in the future. We'll see what we can do with that. And yeah, man, we're just going to keep going, keep climbing the mountain. And thank you for your super chat. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and I just want to remind everyone, it is July 23rd. I mean, I've said this for a couple weeks. It is supposed to be the dog days of summer, waiting for the season, which is still weeks away. And we are just, the amount of information, the amount of interaction is just shooting up. I just remember, back in the day, we hit 7,000 subscribers and now we're about to hit 8, right? So, and it wasn't back in the day. It feels like just a couple weeks ago, whatever, right? So
it was like 4 weeks ago.